Welcome back to Views with Hughes, Agenda for News. This is Jerome Hughes. Now let's go ahead and get right into it. So, Bob Iger, y'all know who Bob Iger is, destroyed the Disney, and this has led to layoffs. Okay, so Bob Iger and Disney are laying off about 2% of its workforce, or 140 people, as the Burbank media and entertainment giant continues a company-wide cost-cutting plan under Bob Iger. Now, the cuts at Disney Entertainment Television under Bob Iger will primarily affect National Geographic, Freeform, and in locally owned TV stations, as well as the marketing and the different publicity teams, according to a person familiar with the matter who is not authorized to comment publicly, according to the LA Times. Now, excuse me, National Geographic in particular will see a 13% cut, and no teams are being eliminated, the person said. Now, National Geographic became a part of the Disney acquisition plan with a $71.3 billion acquisition of 21st Century Fox Entertainment back in 2019. Now, the layoffs come as Bob Iger and Disney continue to cut costs in an attempt to save money and try to go ahead and stem losses from its streaming business. And last year, Bob Iger said the company will lay off 7,000 people as part of a $5.5 billion cost cutting plan. Now, those targets, will eventually swell up to $7.5 billion in savings and 11,000 eliminated roles under Bob Iger and Disney. Now, Bob Iger and Disney basically overextended Disney during the streaming wars in an effort to try to go ahead and compete with Netflix by building up Disney Plus and Hulu. Okay. Now, Bob Iger and Disney face intense pressure from Wall Street in the form of activist investor Nelson Peltz, as you all remember, who demanded a realistic path to making more profits from streaming and was seeking a board seat in order to influence the company's strategy. But unfortunately, and not surprisingly, Nelson Peltz ended up losing the proxy campaign in a shareholder vote where Bob Iger maintained his board position as well as his board members. Now, back in May, the Disney-owned animation studio Pixar laid off 14% of its staff, or 175 employees, as part of that effort under Bob Iger. Now, the cuts from Bob Iger and Disney came as the studio planned to cut back on the number of streaming series it produces. Now, Bob Iger and Disney, one of the biggest names in entertainment, are facing some serious trouble right now. We're seeing layoffs coming from Bob Iger and Disney. We're plummeting stock prices and a disconnect with the very audience that built this empire, which are, well, as you all know, parents. Okay, parents, the ones that grew up with loving Disney movies and now want to share that magic with their kids, but instead of sticking to what made them great, Bob Iger and Disney have been pushing a woke agenda that's been turning a lot of families away. Now, it seems to me that, Disney CEO Bob Iger forgot that Disney was built on a simple idea: create magical stories that kids and parents can enjoy together. Now, Walt Disney himself knew what to make truly special, and it had an appeal to the kid in all of us, and Bob Iger seems to forget that. Now, that's why classics like the Lion King, excuse me, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast are still beloved today. Now, these movies weren't political at all. They were about adventure, love, and the triumph of good over evil. And that's what parents want to pass down to their kids. Stories that inspire, not lectures on the latest social issue. Okay, but let's all be honest here. Somewhere along the line, Bob Iger and Disney actually forgot this, and instead of focusing on timeless themes, Bob Iger and Disney started injecting woke ideology into their movies and shows. And we're seeing more and more content that's less about storytelling and more about pushing a woke political agenda by Bob Iger. Now, look at some of the recent releases, characters and that are no longer just heroes or villains, or the heroes have become villains, like in the act like they're vehicles for social messaging. Okay, and let's be honest, that's not what people are looking for when they turn on a Disney movie. Now, parents don't want to have to explain complex societal issues to a 5-year old because Bob Iger and Disney decided to make a statement in the middle of a cartoon. And Bob Iger and Disney need to remember that they want fun, imaginative stories that they can enjoy with their kids, just like they did when they were young. But now it seems like Bob Iger and Disney are more interested in winning points with a certain crowd on Twitter than making movies that families can actually enjoy. Okay, and now we're also seeing a huge fallout from these decisions from Bob Iger and Disney. You see, Bob Iger and Disney have been forced to lay off thousands of employees because their movies and shows aren't even bringing in the money that they used to bring in. Now, people are turning off Disney Plus, basically skipping the latest movie releases and even staying away from their parks, thanks to the decisions made by Bob Iger. Now, the core audience, families, aren't showing up anymore. Why? Because they're tired of being preached to over the creators hired by Bob Iger, the policies set by Bob Iger, and the content approved by Bob Iger. Okay. Now, these people simply want to escape into a world of magic and of wonder, not being reminded of the political arguments they see on the news. Okay. And every day from Bob Iger. But instead of listening to the audience, Bob Iger and Disney are doubling down. Okay, Bob Iger and Disney are pushing more content that alienates the very people who used to be their biggest supporters. Okay, and you know what? Parents are the key to Disney's success. Okay, they're the ones who pay for the streaming subscriptions, buy the movie tickets, and plan the family trips to Disney World or Disneyland. And they're also the ones who grew up loving Disney and wanting to share that with their kids. But if Bob Iger and Disney keep pushing them away, where's that going to leave them? Okay, who's going to want to support the Disney company that seems more interested in making a woke political statement from Bob Iger than making great entertainment? I'll be honest with you. If you're into that woke stuff, hey, you have the power to it. But people don't want it in entertainment, and it's not just about Disney. It's the trend we're seeing across the entertainment industry. All right, and companies are just basically. It seems to me that they're still forgetting who their audience is, and they're preying on the price. They're paying the price for it right now. People are tired of being told what to think. They just want to enjoy a good movie, or fun show, or maybe a great game without all the politics. And until these companies figure that out, we're just going to keep seeing layoffs, losses, and a lot more disappointed fans. Okay, so basically, here's where we are. What's the takeaway here? Now, Bob Iger and Disney need to get back to its roots, and Bob Iger will have to abandon the whole DEI ESG investment model. Now, Bob Iger and Disney need to remember what made them successful in the first place: great stories, memorable characters, and an experience that brings families together. Now, if Bob Iger and Disney keep pushing this woke agenda, they're simply going to keep losing the very people who made them who they are. Now, it's also time for Bob Iger and Disney to wake up and realize that their audience isn't asking for politics. They're simply asking for the magic. Okay. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you might have on this particular topic. If you enjoyed what I shared in this video, go ahead, smash like, share, follow across social media. And if you have done so already and you enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.